and I'll just start the recording again. So that's, so I don't want to go too long in any feedback, but maybe we can just go around, quickly, just any kind of comment, feedback that I can kind of harvest just for future editions. I'm going to be working in the next week or two to refine this presentation. And so can we start with Carolina? I'll just go down the row here, just a quick introduction, a feedback, and then we'll move on.
I would like to give space to others. There are so many of us today, so I would like to give space to others.
Okay, great. Sophia?
Oh, it's so hard because I have participated, so I don't know how others perceived it. But I have questions though, but I guess that it's not meant for this time. Yeah,
if you have a question about the presentation.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because I think I learned something about when you're not supposed to ask questions, and I'm wondering, because I'm not an English speaking person, is it okay to ask someone what the word means? If they don't understand the word.
Yeah, I think that's okay. It's just for you don't want to get in it too much, but a little bit. That kind of, these rules aren't like really hard and fast, so it kind of depends. It's the idea is, if you don't know what the word means, yeah, you could, I think, just ask what that word means for clarification, but yeah.
Yeah, but you're kind of sort of like wanting to stick to just listening.
Ideally, yeah. But I think, you can say, I'm not sure what that word means, because that's your sharing your understanding.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand what that word means. So something like that.
Okay, so that goes into my other question, because when we're talking about political issues, one person can talk about some incident and do a very quick recap on the incident that I've never heard of, so I don't really grasp onto what they are saying. Should I just do a recap of what my understanding of that is?
I think so, yeah. It's like you just want to, just as much of a recap. If you don't understand something and your recap doesn't capture it to their satisfaction, the speaker's satisfaction, they can just re-say it again.
Okay.
So I think that's it. It's not like hard and fast. It kind of depends on the context, but in general, it's really try to just recap what it is that you're understanding. You can say, I don't really understand this, but something like that.
Yes. Okay.
These are good questions. Right? We're recording these. I'm going to write these down. I'm going to have hard and fast, responses to these. So this is really helpful to.
So I'm glad it helped you too.
Yeah. Love your comments. So, Bill, I know you gave feedback yesterday, but if there's anything new.
No, the only thing that as a teacher, when you talked about a most effective way, as grammatically, that's not an agreement. So then you would say either one of the most effective way, the most effective way, something like that.
Yeah, I stumbled there a little bit because I made I put out a post where I said, the empathy circle is the most effective way for practicing empathy. Prove me wrong.
Okay. Sorry,
I was making a really strong statement. I wanted to see if could anybody show me that I am wrong, and nobody has to this point. People got upset about my emphatic nature, but nobody could prove me wrong. So I'm a little on the edge there on this topic, because I want to say it very assertively. So
all right, well, pick a side and decide.
Exactly.
Stick with it.
Not wishy-washy.
Right, but I also want to say how difficult this is, and I think it's a real strong presentation. That's all I have.
Thanks. Okay, good. Thanks. Mikael? Sorry. This is really great to hear from people who haven't been done the practice. So really looking forward to hearing any feedback, since if you haven't heard about this before.
Yeah, so this is the first time I heard anything about the sympathy circle. I didn't take part in anything like this before, and I didn't have any introductory material. So I learned, like, now I feel comfortable. I could practice it myself. Just one technical thing that came to my mind is that I'm not sure if what happens when the facilitator is this active speaker or the listener, active listener or speaker. Do they still keep the time, or does someone else track the time for them?
They generally still keep the time.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't. Again, you could, pass it on, say, would somebody else keep the time? But if you're,
okay, I don't know. Like, I never did this, so I don't know, like, how much of a hassle that is, or like a distractor for them.
Yeah.
After some time, if I may, after some time, it becomes very easy to keep time, talk. I know first time is quite difficult, but then it becomes much easier.
I see. Thanks.
Yeah, and the idea is to have this be a separate video that before you would come to the empathy circle, you would be able to watch it. So you would get your first level introduction to it. And then it'd be sort of another short introduction. But really, the idea is to really make it as comfortable, take as much of the stress out of taking part. So you kind of know what you're getting into. So that's really helpful to hear your feedback. Patricia?
Yes, I'm completely new to this. And for me, at first glance, it seems very technical, with all the rules to abide to, and difficult to not forget about the rules. Well, I'll have to see. Also, Sophia asked 2 questions for me, because I'm not an English speaker either, and I don't know about, for example, US politics or Polish politics. So there might be either a word not understood or a topic not understood. For me, the same. And I have a question. I don't know if it belongs here. Sure. If I wanted to make my own empathy circle here in my city, how would I go about it?
Yeah, we have a facilitators group that meets after this. So 30 minutes after this closes, we have a group that comes together, and it's really to support you in holding your own empathy circles. So it's a place to share, the intention, to learn about it, you try to, hold your circle, you come back, you get feedback. So we're developing more training material. There is a facilitators training. It's actually 8 hours of material, and there's the link on the empathyscircle.com website. So we have sort of this 8 hours of training video, and then we'll also be holding some workshops on how to become a facilitator. And but this video is just this very first step. We didn't have anything that's a video of a first step, and we do have sort of first step written material. So that there's that too. So yeah, Sophia.
Yeah, I just want to add that it seems very complicated when you watch it in this way, but when you're actually doing it, it becomes much simpler you get it right away. It doesn't take a long time to get it, but I also felt that it was a little complicated when he explained it, but I think you just have to do it to get a sense of it.
Yeah, it's a good point, because the basic instructions we do in like 10 minutes, and then usually in the typical circle, and then you just watch other people how it's done, and it's pretty simple. So I was thinking of maybe adding a component where you just see this circle happen. like there's a recording of just people actually doing it, so there's not all this instruction. So that would be another component. So that's those, yeah, those, your feedback is very helpful. We're just going to keep iterating, keep working on this to keep making it easier and easier. So this is very helpful. Yeah, Bill?
Just a quick suggestion. If we delve into topics you don't know, stick with the personal experience. I find that that's a really good guide. So a person, you may not know the politics, but the person has a reaction to it. And if you just stick to that person's experience, I think that's a good guide. That's my suggestion.
Okay, thanks. So Bob, there's...
Having been working with Edwin for 2 years, I'm still a beginner, and empathy circles have helped me grow as a human being, and I'm so glad to be part of this.
And Bob also does the empathy tent in Los Angeles area. And so he takes the tent, he sets it up and does listening in his community. And he also has an empathy t-shirt. That was Torben. I don't know if you're still there, not seeing, maybe you stepped away. So Cooper, would you, oh, wait, sorry, there's Torben is back. Would you like to comment?
Yeah, I didn't like it. It was too long and too much of a sales pitch in the beginning, and in the end it wasn't. Someone said it would be easier just to show it a video, but people participate. I want to participate. I don't want to sit here and listen how wonderful it is. I think it could be very good, but I've said before because I've done something earlier. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, well, thanks. Yeah, it was a bit of a sales pitch, trying to motivate people. So thanks for the frankness. I appreciate that. Cooper?
But I'm already here. You don't have to motivate me. You can only encourage me if you do like this.
Yeah.
I'm here. You don't have to motivate me.
Oh. Yeah, what we're trying to, we're kind of using this space to develop this video. So you're kind of like contributing to helping create this video. So it's kind of not one of our regular sort of meetings. It's sort of, for sort of harvesting to test and, get some feedback on this video. Yeah, Carolina?
I just want to jump in and say that Copper is actually last name, the first name is Łukasz or Łukasz.
Okay, great. Łukasz then, would you?
It's okay. We have a lot of Łukasz in our group in Gdańsk, so I decided to write my surname. I don't have questions now, but if I had any in the process, I think I will write about it or ask later.
All right. I also put in a link to the feedback section if you want to write some feedback later. There's a shared Google Doc, and you just click on that link, you can add feedback. So, Julia?
I don't have any feedback.
Okay, great. Thanks. Miluna?
Hi, I like the idea of doing a video instead of the instruction, as you mentioned, because I do think it's easier for people to have an example. I'm also here because of my interest in Marshall Rosenberg's work, and so with the empathy circles, I'm not seeing really a chance for the request portion, and maybe at some later point I can figure out where that might fit in. But that's about all the feedback I have.
Okay, it was a request for what? I didn't catch that.
In Marshall Rosenberg's process as NDC, he has as a fourth step the request portion. And with the listening portion of empathy circles, I'm not sure that actually.
Oh, a request. I see. Yeah. Yeah. So asking for a request, making requests. Yeah. Yeah, there's not really that's not really part of it. You can request, and you would just get a reflection of what your request is. So somebody would just reflect back their understanding of what your request is. So it's a little bit different, but it's a good foundation. This is a good foundation for moving on into nonviolent communication. So it's like the foundational process. Yeah, Sophia?
Yeah, I think the empathy circles that we are doing here is just about active listening. And the part in embassy where you express your feelings and needs and then do a request, that is more about expressing yourself to get your needs met. And in these circles, we only practice the active listening part. So this is not a sort of like, how do I get my needs met? It's more about practicing how to listen to each other empathically. I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, that's a very good articulation of it. But it's a foundational practice for it. If you do this, get this really down well, then all those other getting your needs met, making a request, this is like a good foundational practice for it. But we're not trying to do everything. We're just trying to do this basic foundational practice. So thanks for that comment. And Rem, you're...
Yes, I'm home now, so.
Oh, great.
Yeah. I just want to ask about what happens. I mean, how does the facilitator work with emotional exchange, you know? So, of course, there would be times that there would be outbursts of emotions. So, how do you do that?
So it's like, yeah, in a it's kind of more conflicted type of circle, or something where there's just a lot of emotional experience that, again, it's like you would, as the speaker, the facilitator tries to keep everyone in the process. So sometimes people will break out of the process. It's like, you're like really angry with someone. So I tell, I'm like really angry at Bill. Bill, you're such a jerk. You're such an asshole. I hate you. You're a worthless human being. And then Bill would say,
that's on my resume. Yeah. And then I would say, I hear that you're really angry at me, and that you really are, think I'm an asshole. You think I'm doing things that are wrong.
Yeah.
And then you say, do you feel heard, maybe?
Yeah, if that was the end of it, I didn't sound like that would be the end of it. It seemed like there was a lot more there.
Yeah, so it's just the listener is just sort of reflecting back whatever the emotional tone is. And then sometimes people, if it's a conflicted situation, like Bill, if he hadn't had a lot of experience, he might like get really mad and start wanting to lash back. And then that's where the facilitator says, just reflect back what you're hearing. You'll have a chance to speak. So you just keep people in the practice, and that those emotions then through the empathic listening or the conflict sort of unravels, and people start to feel heard, and then actually it might even end with hugs at the end of it, because people just start hearing each other. So
it's good to hear.
So that's it. So, okay, so
thank you.
There was this is like I'm saying, this is not our normal. Oh yeah, Carolina.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, there is one more participant from Poland, Jemian. It's your turn to...
Oh, thank you. I didn't see that. Those off my screen.
His name is Jemian. It's actually a nickname. Jemian, it's your turn to say what you think.
Yeah, hello everybody. Thanks, Carolina, for inviting me to this empathy circle. I joined your group after a couple of minutes, so what to say? For me, your presentation was quite clear. I haven't been introduced to this topic before, but after your presentation, I understood everything pretty clearly, and so I don't know if there is anything to change. That was pretty clear to me. Everything, every slideshow. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the start of this circle.
Okay, great. So now we're going to divide into groups, and unfortunately, Carolina.
I have one question to my Polish colleagues, friends. Do we want to form Polish room? Because we will separate to different rooms. There are too many participants, so we have to split to, I suppose, 3 rooms. And my question is, if you want to speak in Polish room, so we have first Polish recording of our empathy circle, or we prefer to mix with others? What do you think?
Well, if you agree to be our facilitator, then I'm fine with this idea.
Michał, Łukasz?
I don't mind really. Like both are good for me.
Łukasz?
It would be very helpful for me, I think.
Okay. What do you think, Edwin, about it?
It's up to you. So it would
well, I interrupt you. I'm sorry. We didn't have time to. I wrote something on Messenger to you, but we didn't have time to decide. But
okay.
I think it will be easier for some of my friends to speak Polish, maybe, and we will get first Polish recording, so
cool.
It would be nice.
Okay. So you,
Cooper, you Michał, and
there's
and Demian.
Yeah, but I'm so pretty okay with joining other groups. If it's up to you. I don't know what the process is. If it's okay with you, if we separate ourselves into like a Polish language only.
Yeah, I think we could try it. I've got it set up here, so it's already sort of set up. So that'll make it easier. So then the other group will be Bill. See, who could? Bill, oops, Torben. They're just going to go down the list here, and then the others. Okay, so Patricia, Rem, Sophia, Torben. So, okay, I think I've got it. So what's going to happen is we're going to go into our breakout rooms, and we have the topic of whatever's alive for you. Whatever topic you want to talk about. Usually we have a topic, but this time it's just whatever's, burning issue. The breakout group will be Bob, Bill, Julia, Milena, and then Patricia, Rem, Sophia, Torben, and I. So I think that's it. So we're gonna go into the breakout rooms, and then about about 15 minutes before the hour, we're going to come back together, and we're just going to get everyone's feedback. So we've got about 45 minutes, a bit shorter than usual. So okay, here we go. You're going to go into your rooms now. Hopefully this will work. So it says you have been invited to join a room. It will take you into that. Okay, so we're ready to start. And timekeeper, I am the timekeeper, so I better get the clock going, stopwatch. A lot of stuff to set up here. And we're going to have 5-minute turns. And let me just get the paper. Oh, the time, this will be the time, just when 5 minutes is up. So anyone can start, and just whatever is on your mind. What would you like to talk about? I could volunteer Sophia, because you want to talk about privilege before. So if you want to model it and speak to me, so we could model it for the others, since they haven't done it before.
Should I talk, or should you?
You could talk to me, and then I can sort of model it.
I'm just going to close my window because it's windy here. Ooh. Should I talk about privilege?
Anything that's alive for you, if you're.
Okay, so what's alive in me is that I was feeling kind of nervous about two people being here that I know, and I really want them to like this because I like it. So yeah, you can reflect back.
Okay, I'm hearing you feeling some anxiety because you know some of the people, two of the people that are here, and you're hoping that they like it, and you're feeling a bit anxious that they might not like it.
Yeah, and I was feeling kind of like when Thorben said that he thought the presentation was boring. I don't remember the words he was using. I was just feeling really like, no, you have to try it. and don't judge it yet. So, yeah.
Yeah, so you were hearing Torben sort of judging saying, oh, this is boring, or you're not even sure what he really was saying. We can't remember exactly what he was saying, but you were like thinking, oh, no, you should really try it first. So maybe feeling a little anxiety, concern there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just excited to be here again. I think I haven't been here in 3 weeks. So I'm happy to see all of you again.
So feeling some excitement about being here again, since you haven't been here for a while?
Yeah. Okay, thank you. I feel
heard. Okay, that was all in 2 minutes. So I'll speak to Patricia, if that's okay. And you're muted. Yeah, you're.
Okay, I unmuted myself.
Okay, great. Yeah.
So you are the speaker. I'm the listener now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
I always enjoy hearing Sophia when she talks. It seems like it's always very clear and articulate, and I don't know, I just enjoy her sharing whenever she talks.
Yes, I hear that you enjoy every time you hear Sophia talking, because she's very clear in what she's saying. Very good to understand.
Yeah. And then, I felt, this is not a regular empathy circle. Like usually we have our process, and giving a big presentation and all that is a little bit different than we usually do. So I feel a little anxious, I felt some anxiety about, giving the presentation and testing it. And it's a little bit more complicated than things usually are. So felt a little anxiety about that.
I heard that you said it's not like a usual empathy circle. You did this presentation, which you normally don't do. Everything is a bit more complicated, and so you feel anxious how it will go.
Yeah, I had a little bit of anxiety about it. This is the second presentation, so the anxiety is going down the more I do this. So practice kind of helps with the anxiety, and I really want to make it. I feel some anxiety because I want it to be really well done, to engage people. I do want to sort of market it like Tobin says, or Torben says. I want to inspire people. This is really good, and how do I kind of inspire people? So I do have that kind of feeling about it too.
Yes, I hear that you are very, very, in a way, ambitious of getting it out to people. You want people to get it because you yourself are so convinced about it. And you are a little anxious that people won't get it like you want them to. That's
And I feel some sadness too. I just felt a sense of sadness come up because I just see the conflict in the world, all the community and families, and just kind of everywhere, kind of the disconnection. And there's a feeling of sort of sadness, just an awareness of that. And this is like one practice I think really contributes. If we have a family, like in my family, we get together periodically and do these empathy circles, and we actually kind of work out family issues. And, you know, I just feel sad that we didn't have these tools when I was young, like a kid, you know, that it's, you know, it would have helped so much in terms of creating better, like, family relationships.
Yeah, so I heard that you are feeling sad. You're feeling sad about all this disconnection in the world. And you're having a community, a family, and you wish that in this community you would have these tools earlier, so you could have put them to good use.
Yeah,
that's what I heard.
Yeah, when I was, you know, when I was young, when I was 7, 8, 9 years old, to have already been learning some of these practices and having had a chance to, you know, be heard in the family and in the school. And I think it would have been a much better, you know, would have improved my life.
Oh, yes, I hear that when you were young, you didn't feel heard in your family and in the school. And if this practice had been available to you, this really would have made a difference to your life.
Yeah, I feel very heard. Thank you. Feel fully heard.
You're very welcome.
So now you select maybe Rem or Torben.
Phew. I select Rem. Oh, it's a bit difficult for me to start. This thing you just talked about is very emotional for me. This disconnection I experience all around me.
Mm-hmm.
And this makes me terribly sad. Like, I could cry right now, but I won't.
Mm-hmm.
And right now I'm looking for ways to overcome this. And I find it very difficult.
Mm-hmm. I'm hearing you, Patricia, and you said that you're feeling difficult right now. And that feeling of that terrible disconnection around you. And you feel you want to cry about it, but right now you choose not to. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, and this relates, in my opinion, to the political situation we have in the EU here,
Mm-hmm.
which in my opinion is disintegrating right now.
Mm-hmm.
In my sense, I don't know what my future will be in this EU, in this country, and I'm very much afraid about that.
Yeah. I heard that you feel afraid and uncertain. You don't know what your future will be in this political situation in EU, and this is what is connect. This is what you feel disconnected.
Yes, and I realize that I also feel a very, very deep anger against all those people in power. And I don't know if it is allowed to say here, but if I could kill, I would kill.
Yeah.
Because these people are destroying so many people's lives.
Yeah.
And this makes me angry. This makes me terrified. There are these conflicting emotions.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, I realize that we all have to start within ourselves to make the world better. and that we shouldn't point out at others. But it's difficult to do.
Yeah. I heard that you're so angry about what is happening, and you hesitated on saying that you wanted to kill these people because they're the ones destroying whatever is right in the situation. But then you still have the hope that there's change coming from each and every one. So, yeah.
Somebody said something?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Just around home.
No, I think I have to clarify one last thing. I really don't have much hope, and this is what makes it so terrifying. But I'm just realizing if there should be any hope at all, if there would be any hope at all, it would have to begin with each of us. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah. You clarified about not having that hope about the situation. So, yeah.
Yes, I feel heard by you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Patricia. So, I'll be next, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm gonna. So Sophia will be the one to hear me, right?
You could talk to Torben since he hasn't.
Oh yes. Okay, Torben. Okay.
Yeah, hello.
Hello. I'd like to share about, of course, my interest in these kinds of methods. So that's why I'm here. It's been a while that I've been being invited by Edwin, and I'm lucky and I'm grateful to be here right now. And I saw that this method has similarities and similarities as well as differences with other methods, but basically the essence is it's about listening and connection. So, and I love to learn.
Yeah, I heard that you are obviously interested in these kind of ways of meeting, and that you are happy to be invited again, and that yeah, sorry, you have to repeat that.
What I said was I saw the difference and similarities of other methods with the empathy circle, and it's all about listening and connection.
Yeah, can I? Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you see the similarities and the differences with other methods, and you're happy to be able to compare.
Yeah.
Am I right? Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. And just to add, it's good to see how this method is different among what I've experienced, and just to have it experience it first time right now, it gives me a different sense of how dialogue happens. And I myself, I mean, it's good to have an experience of this kind of this method right now, as opposed to what I have experienced with other methods. So yeah.
Yeah, you think it's good to have experience of this method compared to because it's the first time you do this method, and you compare it with other methods you've already tried. Yeah.
Yes. And yes. Yeah. Thank you. And one thing that I also want to share more is about I myself I'm a facilitator. So I do facilitation work here in Manila, and I've been involved in group works and mostly spiritual. I'm not as political as some of my friends here, and whatever happens in the world right now also happens in the Philippines. So there's some sort of political divide as well. I would say I am standing in the middle and I'm just observing everything, not really involving myself. So yeah.
Shall I? Can I? Yes. I hear that you are a facilitator in Manila, and not in spiritual ways. You're not that into into political things, and that but your friends are very much involved, and what happens in the world very much happens in Manila at the moment. In Philippines at the moment. I don't know what.
Yeah,
That's
mostly in Manila, yes. And one thing that I'm happy about is while things are quite uncertain, and of course, like what Patricia said a while ago, that feeling of uncertainty, and in a way, the lack of hope that is happening around. I guess I would say I personally have this deep sense of clarity of what is happening. And I'm reminded of an ancient Chinese wisdom that whatever is happening around there, and if that is in the extreme, then it will meet its opposite. You know, it will find its ground. If there is chaos, cosmos, the order is coming. If there is disorder, the peace is coming. So I'm hopeful, in fact, of whatever is happening around. And given that we're doing this, that makes me more, more enthusiastic about doing my work.
Can I? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. You feel like you said earlier a neutral observer, and that is this Chinese way of looking at it, the proverb that when that the kind of solution comes from a problem, and problem comes from solution, everything is its opposite. And have I got it? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. I feel heard. So, thank you, Torben.
Yeah. So now I should choose someone, or does it work now?
Yes, you choose. Your choice.
Yeah. Okay. I think I choose you, Edwin.
Okay, I'm listening.
Yeah. It's difficult for me because every time I say what I think, it creates drama, kind of. I really didn't want to hurt anyone.
Yeah, and, so you're concerned every time you speak, you create drama and you don't want to hurt anyone.
Yeah. And today it has been a day where I have to have small conflicts all day, so I'm quite toxic inside, actually. That explains anything.
Okay, so you've had a lot of conflict today, and you're feeling a sense of toxicity inside of yourself, and yeah.
So I feel sometimes that it's important to spare other people's ears, because sometimes I don't do that enough. And but now I feel like I'm in a social context, and now I feel better. It's like what happened before today doesn't matter that much anymore.
So you feel like you're in a social context here, and that the conflict, the things that happened before, are not so important?
Exactly. And I had this problem with the way that people spread war in the name of peace. Very much it's like all the powers of fighting over the world, and China and Russia is openly arrogant, but the US, they pretend that they are the good guys, and actually they behave just as bad. And so I feel a bit anxious about meeting so many American people because, yeah, it's I don't like conflict, you know.
So you don't like conflict, and that you don't like this aspect where people say they're good and they're not, or peace for peace and they really aren't. So you see that in America they say they're for peace, but they're really just like China and Russia in terms of their, you know, warlike, I guess, non-peaceful approach.
Yeah, you say it better than myself, actually. Yeah. And now, I feel fully heard. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Then I'll actually speak back to you, just to change the, Torben, I'll speak back to you. Yeah, in terms of this practice, I think you're welcome to say anything you want. I really try to make a point of it that, you know, whatever you have on your mind, whatever you're feeling, there's no limit to what you can say, and that you will be heard about whatever it is that you're feeling. So I just want to make that point. So if you reflect that back.
Yeah, you say that, as you already said, that you are allowed to say anything, and that whatever you say, you will be heard on. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually like it when people are very coarse and confrontational, like we go to these political rallies and there's just a lot of anger and upset. I like the intensity of it, and for people to, you know, just really, you know, just say whatever they want, because I know the political right, they don't like how the left always says, oh, be nice, you know, don't, you know, be politically correct and all that kind of stuff. And I always make a point of say whatever you want and you will be heard. So it's just that sense of say whatever's on your mind is, I guess I keep going on about that. I mean, it's just important.
Yeah, you like when people are, I think you said, coarse about it. I don't know if it's the right word. When people are very frank, say directly what they think, and because the right wing in the US normally don't dislike that the left people are always being kind and not doing conflict and so on.
Yeah,
right?
That's it. Yeah. And there's this whole notion of political correctness on the political left here. Like, you know, you don't want to say anything to offend someone. It's, you know, and I say, you know, go ahead and offend someone. It's fine in the circle, right? Because it's like the transformation of what the person says that is offensive. I think it's a good practice to practice hearing something that you think is offensive and reflecting it. It kind of like transforms it. It changes the offensiveness into connection, actually. The power of empathic listening is it transforms that disconnection into connection. I don't know if that makes this clear, but yeah.
Yeah, I understand it. You mean that in this empathic listening, you enjoy when people offend, because then they will hear a reflection of it and see it from the outside, kind of. So it becomes, yeah. Did I get it?
Yeah, and it actually creates connection. There's a sense of connection that happens through the reflection. We stay connected instead of feeling separate and apart. It helps us, you know, stay in connection.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the reflection and the conflict and the reflection of a conflict actually makes a connection. And yeah.
Yeah, and then you can actually work through you can actually work through the conflict, and yeah, so it's just a good way of working through conflict. So if you just reflect that last part.
You actually go. What?
Oh, just if you just reflect that last part, then I'll feel heard. Just.
Yeah, it's like they actually solve the conflict by doing this.
Yeah, I feel fully heard. Yeah, exactly. I feel fully heard. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, then it's me again.
Your turn again.
Okay.
Yep.
Hello, Sophia. How are you doing?
Oi. Hey.
You should.
I'm chosen. I'm listening.
I feel fully heard, actually.
Okay, so you feel fully heard.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll choose Patricia.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just always very touched by these conversations. Just listening to you and your concerns. I just hear them differently because we are on other calls, but the kind of flavor that this call has, I don't get that flavor in those calls. So I really enjoyed listening to you now. It just felt that you were more in touch with yeah, some deeper stuff in you.
Okay. I heard that you said we connect on other calls. And these calls are different. And you experienced me as being more in touch with myself, if I got it right, than on the other call we meet regularly. And you like that. That's right?
Clarification. No, I don't. My perception is that there were some deeper layers to what I heard you say than I've heard you say in those other calls. Yeah. So I don't assume that you are in contact with yourself in those calls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you sensed me talking about some deeper layers than I talked about in the other gathering.
Yeah. And I just enjoy the pace in these calls, but because it's a kind of slowing down and really listening to what the other person is saying. So it's a slower pace here, but I really enjoy that. It's like the brain is sort of like slowing down, and yeah, I always feel less anxious when I leave these calls.
I heard that you said these calls feel slower to you than other calls. Oh no, I got lost. And you said you feel less anxious when you leave these calls than probably the other calls. So I heard that for you, this is a very good way to connect, in summary, but I just lost some of the detail, sorry.
No worries. You did fine. There's something I want to add. I don't feel like talking about political subjects right now. But of course, I'm very concerned about what's happening in the world. But these calls and this way of communicating is actually giving me hope that people are trying it out and getting the taste of it.
Okay, I heard that you said that you normally don't talk about political stuff, although you're very concerned, but you don't talk much about it. But these calls give you hope for the future, I think.
Yeah. I just didn't feel like talking about political issues today. But I really get the sense that empathy is the answer to many questions, and is the solution to many problems, actually.
Yes, you said that just today you didn't want to talk about political issues. So this probably you like, on other days you like to talk about political issues. But oh, I lost it again. I have to concentrate so hard. You said something positive. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I just said that.
Very unusual to me.
No problem. I'm gonna make myself shorter, and you can interrupt me if it's too much. Also,
I don't know why it's too much. Normally I can concentrate very well, but it's hard for me. Anyway. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I just said that. Oh, now I forgot what I said also. You see, it's not easy. Yeah, okay. I feel full.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's me again?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. How do I choose? I choose you. Because I think we did it the other way around. You choose me, is that right?
You choose who. When you
You.
say you. Oh, me. Okay, Edwin. Okay, sure.
I choose you.
Right.
Well, what to say? I see there are two options to talk about. I could rant and get very furious about politics. And I could also comment on what Sophia said, that this way of talking and being listened to is different than other calls. And I know which call she means. That's the one I mentioned before that we're having tomorrow.
Okay, so you're saying there's two things that you can talk about. One, you could rant on politics, and the other is you could talk about the quality of these conversations or these discussions.
Yeah.
And kind of comparing it to the other group that you take part in. Or
yeah. So I think if I start ranting about politics, it will take like half an hour, so I won't do that. About the other group Sophia mentioned, I realized for me there is a different kind of I would call it empathy, like you react in an emotional way to what people say.
So the quality of the other group is that you're reacting emotionally to what they're saying.
Yes, sometimes. And the other thing about this group is that sometimes people go very much into their personal stuff at length. And sometimes you are forced to listen like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes to the same person talking over and over and over again. And you would really like to interrupt and say, okay, now it's somebody else's share, but you can't because you're not the I'm not the facilitator of this group, so I can't say anything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So in this other group, the quality of it is that people can talk about personal issues and they go on for a really long time, 10, 15, 20 minutes. And while you're listening, you'd kind of like to interrupt, say something, but you have to be quiet because you're not the facilitator. So it's just kind of the quality of that, and maybe I don't know if it's irritation about the ongoing, or you'd like to just respond to what they're saying.
Yes, there's this irritation because I feel that sometimes people take too much space. That gives me irritation. Sometimes I do interrupt if it's possible and say something which would be emotional, like a sort of consolation and even me, I would think I would like talk about my stuff for some time, and I realized that not everybody might be interested in it.
Mm-hmm. So with this process, it sounds like you get a bit impatient with people just going on and on, and you do interrupt sometimes, but your interruptions is sort of consoling, trying to console them or kind of have sympathy for them. And then you also do talk about your own stuff. And I think I lost what it was about your own.
I said that I think it's very possible that not everybody in this gathering is interested in my stuff as well.
Yeah. So you've got a feeling when you talk about your stuff that people aren't interested. So you kind of have that sense, oh, maybe they're not interested in what I'm saying here.
Yes, because it's, as I told in the beginning, it's about the dark night of the soul, and everybody has different issues. And so, yeah, it's a kind of sharing, but everybody's experience is different. So it's more like this person says this, and maybe one person reacts to it, and then another person says a completely different problem, and then the next person has a completely different problem. And sometimes there are reactions, sometimes they're not. I don't know if this is worse than this year. It's just different.
Mm-hmm. So you're just explaining the context, how that other group works, that people are sharing, it's about the dark night of the soul, and they're just sharing different stories, and they kind of go in different sort of directions, and it's just sort of describing the experience of that group, and that was 5 minutes too.
Yeah, and I felt her. Thank you.
Okay, then I'll speak to Rem.
Hi.
Yes. Yeah, I guess the thing that was coming up for me is I was just curious about your facilitation, what kind of facilitation work you do. You had talked about, these are, of different practices, you're sort of comparing this practice plus that you do facilitation, sort of spiritual work. So I was just sensing some curiosity about what it is that you do and, how your practices work. And yeah.
Yeah. I heard that you're curious about what I'm doing and the facilitation methods that I've learned and practiced, and how I apply them in my work. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm right now I'm really trying to focus on this training, to how to make it really accessible and easy and have different ways of doing it. So I'm really curious from other facilitators, like what insights they have, what their experiences are, because I'm really trying to get this, introductory material together, and so that's occupies a lot of my thought.
Yeah. So you're saying that it's been a while that you're thinking about how to come up with these materials for you to design an introductory material for Empathy Circle, and you're interested of learning more from different perspectives from different people, especially facilitators.
Yeah. And the other part is on that is thinking of maybe doing a video of samples. So because it is true that if you just you see how quickly everybody got into it just by kind of doing it. You give minimal instructions, you can just kind of get started, within less than 10 minutes instead of a 20, 30-minute presentation. So but I think it is helpful to have that longer presentation available too. So having sort of a menu of introductory material is, I just see maybe the need for that.
Yeah. So you're thinking of coming up with videos, maybe shorter ones for quick introductions, or the longer ones for a more detailed instruction. Am I right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So and it's surprising for you that how it's easy for everyone to get the hang of it with just minimal instruction. So and you're interested of coming up with this menu of introduction.
Yep, I feel fully heard, and we have only about 3 minutes before we need to join the larger group. So if you want to take that time.
Well, thank you. I mean, can I share?
Yeah, you can select someone to speak.
Okay, yeah. Maybe Sophia. Yeah. So.
I'm listening.
Yes, thank you, Sophia. I'm just thankful for just being here, for learning so much. I'm thankful for Edwin and for every one of you to just have this experience.
Yeah, you're feeling thankful and grateful because you had the chance to learn and experience this.
Yeah, and it's good to hear your stories, your concerns, Patricia's, Torben's, yours, Edwin. So to just hear from people who are completely strangers to me, but it is as if in this space I feel like I belong. So even though we're separated geographically and time zones, so it's really fun to be here.
Yeah, so I'm hearing that you're feeling a sense of connection to all of us, even though we don't even know each other. There was something else. Yeah, did I hear you correctly?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel heard. So thank you.
Okay, great. Then we'll go back to the larger group. I'm going to close this room, and we'll join with the rest for sort of a debrief. And you should see something that says,
thank you, everyone. Yeah.
You'll see. Yeah, thank you.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to leave now.
Okay. Okay. How was that other group? I somehow hear, Bob, it showed you not being in the other group. Did you have some problem or something, or?
I was in a group with Bill,
Okay.
Julia, and Miluna, and we had a great time.
Oh, yeah, because it was on the breakout room session that showed that I thought that maybe you had dropped out somehow, but so somehow it wasn't accurate. So we should have the others should be popping in any second now. There. Oh, great. There you are. Okay, so the last part of this is we just want to go around and get a debrief, you know, just what was your experience like, you know, maybe what you liked or what you'd wish for, sort of a bit of a just some feedback of the process. So let me